Welcome back, everybody, to the NLC Summer Split. We're heading into our second game of the night, which is going to be Galaxy Racer versus Kova. And Galaxy Racer are a team that a lot of people are fairly hyped about. I think they've got some. Yeah, I know. Yes. You know what, Trouble? I'm just gonna let you do it, Trouble. Just you go for it.
So basically, the reason why I'm really excited is obviously because Monk is coming back, but Wendelbo is coming back as well. Kakan is coming back in the top lane as well. And honestly, Kakan and Monk have played together back when they were in M&M, if I'm not wrong. And honestly, it was back when I was saying, Kakan is the only pillar in that M&M that keeps them going. He was the one person that was always so consistent, and I was always very excited to watch him play. And now he is alongside Monk and Wendelbo returning as well. I think this is going to be a very strong bot lane, a very strong top, and I've yet to see mid and jungle.
We'll see the bans. So go through. Yeah.
I was going to say, I think a big thing for me as well is both of these rosters aren't completely fresh. We saw Galaxy Racer qualify for the NLC. They have changed 2 members. Obviously, we had Kova last split, and they've only changed 1 member. So rather than having like a full fresh team like we just saw for Granite, I expect a certain level of cohesion already for these teams coming in.
Yeah, and actually Kova was a team that definitely impressed us last split. They're a team that had some really excellent moments. A lot of people really hyping up Tiara as that kind of engaged support for the team, and kind of had some big moments for them overall. But Galaxy Racer have got the likes of Jakey in the jungle. They've got Monk, as you said. They've got Wendelbo, Khan in the top lane. Like a lot of veteran and very well-respected players. This is a roster that could genuinely be looking to contest top 3. They've got the caliber of players. I remember talking, a bit of a throwback, but I remember talking maybe about a year and a half ago at the European Masters summer 2019. No, it's 2 years ago. Summer 2019 European Masters. And I remember everyone was kind of hyping up Jakey at that point. Everyone was saying, like, he's going to be the next big thing. We have a Diana come through, though. Diana has got locked in here for Kova. Obviously, the ban's already there, and we have a Lucian put through too.
Yeah, I like the Lucian coming into Diana, so you have that priority and also an AD mid to mix with that AP. But you're up against the Lee Sin being that triple flex, and there's still the likes of the Kai'Sa open for the side of Kova, but there's still the Kog'Maw open for Monk, and it is a favorable matchup for the Kog'Maw, so the potential to bring that out. But in this situation, Kova could take it third pick. It has been a huge pocket pick for Snurmy. It would be surprising if they left it available, but actually Jink's just going to get taken here by Galaxy Racer.
And seeing the fact that they decided to go with the Syndra in the mid lane, Syndra Lee Sin is a very, very, very strong combo if you want to shut down both opponent jungle and opponent mid lane. So you take the Lee Sin from a very strong solo lane, which you have seen him dominate in the MSI, you snuck him back into the jungle, and he does great there as well, together with the likes of the Syndra. Diana is something that we have not necessarily seen much, but she was very recently buffed into the jungle. Her attack speed is completely off the roof, even after the nerfs that came in. It's a very, very viable jungle right now, and she takes objectives so freaking fast due to her root being through a Nasus Dudes that gives her even more attack speed on her build. So you see right now on Kova's side, their objective taking ability is literally so freaking fast with the 2 ADs and the Diana.
I wonder whether we need to see Galaxy Racer come up with some big support or big engage potential here, because with versus an Ashe, it's a little bit like that Varus. You need to have a way to threaten her immediately, and a lot of teams have talked about the value of having that engage. I know Lee Sin can provide it, but sometimes you need to find something a little bit more consistent than that. Things like the Malphite in the top lane could be good for Kakan, for instance. Let's see where we're going. Thresh and Leona bans. So a lot of these engaged supports are being taken off the board by both Galaxy Racer and Kova, looking to protect their valuable AD carries on the backline.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised not to see Galaxy Racer ban any jungles in this situation, because with the Lee Sin, with that flexibility, you kind of have your bases covered. If Kova was to target the jungle pool, or if the jungle pool got thin, you'd still be in a comfortable position. I don't know why I'm saying that, because there's a Diana, so I don't know what I'm talking about. First day back. Either way, we see the Jace come in as a ban, so they are potentially thinking that it is going to be that Lee Sin in the jungle, eliminating some of the stronger top laners, and Galaxy Racer will just answer.
I think this sort of gives away that the Lee Sin is going to actually end up in the jungle. The fact that Galaxy Racer themselves banned the Na in the top lane, something that is ranged against Lee Sin, even though Lee Sin has a really easy gap closer and his E has been buffed a lot, making sure that you have that range to melee matchup in the top lane for Kova is going to be huge, and they're going to opt to go straight into the Renekton, a pick that is actually very controversial, but to me, he's like one of the S tier top laners at this point. He's valuable for every team comp, and he's actually decent into pretty much every single matchup there is in the top lane. Now, I think the answer here will be whether you want to put the Lee Sin in the jungle. That's it. The Lee Sin's in the jungle.
Well, I mean, as you just seen here, the Ornn gets locked in here, which I guess is a little similar to Malphite. I can see Orcs' face contorting. I'm just gonna
I don't know how.
What do you not like on Ornn? Oh.
No, it's just I don't know how both of them picked up and neither took Gwen, and she just slipped through the draft completely. I feel like that champion is so broken right now. Both teams like completely ignoring it in this situation. So we're going to wrap up with the Braum. I actually really like the Braum in this situation. I'm glad I left support till final pick to counter. Good and Nautilus can sort of limit that engage potential, and also syncs really well with the fact that you have those double AD carries. Honestly, I think both teams have a decent amount of agency, but I feel like Kova kind of have an edge in some regards. And again, that Braum also does shut down the Ornn engage. We don't really talk about it as much anymore because Ornn isn't really as much in the meta as when this was a big thing, but you can stop that engage so easily and really keep your backline safe.
So
for you, Trouble. I was literally going to ask you, Trouble, but go in.
What I really like here that I didn't like in the Granite composition is that Kova also have a kiting backwards team with the Ashe and the Braum, but they have many more tools that can stand rocks in the front line. The Renekton, the Braum, that can give the time that their carries need to kite backwards and do the damage. Whilst on the other hand, you do have the heavy engage with the Nautilus, with the Braum, with the Ornn. Yes, the Ornn horn can be stopped from the Braum, but then you also have Naughty going. You also have the Lee Sin insect engage. So you have a lot of tools. Also, on the other hand, you have a lot of kiting tools. So I feel like these two compositions are way more balanced than what we saw in game one.
Well, it reflects in the predictions as well. There's a relatively split predictions across the board for this game. I'm excited to see how it goes. We've got Hitbrain and Gulborg ready to take our second game of the night, so we're going to send it over to them.
Thank you very much, Scoundrel. Hello and welcome to the caster desk as we're getting ready to go into game number 2 of the day. Gulborg's just going to adjust his camera and smile.
There we go.
Smile away, boys. What are you liking about these comps then?
I mean, I'll get into that. I was a bit surprised when I saw the Syndra pick for Tiva, not gonna lie. He came from Ghost Skiller where they didn't drop a single game in EBL, so that was like quite impressive. Did lose at the European Masters Play-ins, but he had never played Syndra up until that point. So to me, the Syndra blind play was really interesting, but you know, it really shows comfort. I like the adaptation they had. They saw the Renekton pick. Renekton really good into Lee Sin in that top side, and they swapped it back into the jungle where it's better for them now that the jungle changes has come through, where the clear speed don't matter as much as it did in the past. But I will say I agree with what Orc said. Like, there is a lot of agency for Kova right here. The fact you have a Braum with double AD carry, the snap engage you get with Diana, the arrow from Snurmy, and of course Renekton, who's still going to be a semi-reliable frontline for you, who's going to be able to knock down some of these champions that want to go in. I'm looking at Jakey on his Lee Sin. I think it's going to come down to execution, but I can be favoring the composition of Kova just because of the disengage they have in that Braum.
Yeah, no, I think you're completely right. I do like both of these teams, though. I do think there's now, obviously, what we had in the last game was one team had engage and had poke, and the other team didn't have much to work with. In this game, there are still tools to work with. You've got, obviously, the Scatter of the Week, which is kind of a bit more of a situational engage, but you can use it to set up. You've got the Nautilus, you've got the Ornn. Obviously, if the Braum is played effectively, you can technically shut down the Braum, the Ornn from his ultimate, but even so, both of these teams do have that ability to kind of start a fight when they want. So I think we're going to be in for a pretty explosive game compared to the first game of the day. I'm going to be interested to see how this mid lane goes here. As we do expect earlier, the Lucian just to have a pretty free run of it, as he pretty much does in most of his lanes.
But here's the thing, though. We're looking at the junglers starting up their camps now, and you know, Lee Sin starting towards that top side, meaning he will be pathing down towards this bottom where there will be some form of exchange with Vendelbo's Nautilus. And I kind of want to talk about this bot lane a bit. Monk alone was known for flipping the laning phase and just doing a lot of crazy stuff there. But so was Vendel, and here we just go level 1 into Braum, where we were like...
You're going to be perma-slow, my man. That is Wendell losing so much health.
And there you go. And that's what I mean. It's going to be a bit rough for them. And Vendel is just one of the only supports who's going to be feeling confident going in for a trade like that, well knowing that is not really going to benefit him much in the HP department. But what they get instead is that they get the minion pressure, they get the wave push in, and by that they get the level advantage. So it's through some of these small aggressive plays that they try to get some of this lane dominance that the Jinx really needs in the early game, so because she can just safely scale towards that point where she's really scary.
Simply just trying to dodge away on some of this poke here from Tibber. Top lane, we haven't really paid too much attention to. You can see there's a 10 CS deficit up there for Kakan, but the wave is looking like it's going to be crashing into him. You kind of expect this. The Ornn is just going to play safe in this lane. Galaxy are able to now push in the bot wave, and he use this opportunity to try and spot out some of these jungle paths, try and spot Outlandish out. So Warder's placed in his jungle, and they just return to safety.
And wave will be bouncing back here. It's going to be curious to see what Galaxy Racer is going to be doing with this. And you can see they're not trying to push it. They're just last hitting when they need to, because they know that Diana started bottom. So that means she's on the top side. And they know they have J-Key in the back of them here. So they're trying to make sure that Kova is not feeling overconfident, not making sure that the bottom cannot step up. I think J-Key was not spotted on that ward, actually, so they still don't know he's in the vicinity. And this is what can be making the situation a bit tough for the bot lane. Diana, on the other side of the map, is just trading on that Scuttle and can be looking to just getting that early reset or see if they want to kind of attempt a dive here, but I think it's going to be risky. But you can see Simply is moving up here from the mid lane. He had the priority, and with the wave set up from Tatooine here, we may see a very early dive onto Kakan.
Here they come. Kakan not really got anywhere to go. Looks for the knock-up, but he's not even got Tatooine tanking the tower as it's first blood to Simply. Outlandish flashes away as well. That's a pretty clean dive. They did have to burn a couple of flashes.
Yeah, but it's also just how it really came together. The fact that Tatooine has the lane pressure, he was slow pushing it in with a stack wave, Simply had minion pressure in the mid lane, was able to move up without losing, you know... Oh, he is actually losing quite a bit. The minion wave is frozen, but he does have TP, so he will be able to get back in the mid lane quite fast as well and try and regain some of that loss he had. But in the end, still a very worth trade from Kova. You can see 800 gold up here.
Well, we can have a little look at that dive once again. It just really well played. Tatooine didn't tank until we needed to. CC had been used, and Kakan, no answer to that dive, unfortunately. Is able to somewhat alleviate this CS deficit, as Wendell has made his way up towards the mid lane. Tiara also matching. Braum Lucian is a pretty rough one, though, even with that Nautilus Syndra. There's a lot of CC, so it's like nobody's going to opt in for that one. And Jakey's just going to go for an invade. Let's take away some of these Raptor Kanks from Outlandish, who kind of wants to get that Lunarfall, that Moonfall from these ultimate at level 6. So denying that experience is not bad.
Yeah, there is a lot of power spikes that's going to be coming out from both teams, really, when they are going to be hitting that level 6 point. As you talked about yourself, the Diana, but also the Insect for Lee Sin with the Dragon Rage, and potentially even some cross-map arrows from Snurvy. And
oh, okay. Hold on.
Although,
no, don't worry.
No, yep, okay.
It's exciting and then not so exciting. As they have to be a little bit careful. There's 3v2, although multiple people are rotating up, and there's a bit of a pincer maneuver coming in. Shaky may have to look to try and jump over this wall. Is able to ward hop to safety. Hits the blast cone, and Kova just lose some time.
Yeah, gets over there, and you know, Monk just with Snurby down there. Yeah, Monk does have to push, and he may be even able to get a small plate here. Yes, he does. 160 over to the Jinx. Lovely stuff right there, and actually equalizing the gold lead a little bit there. We talked about the 800 gold that Kova was up, but now we're back to just dead even. TP from Tipper. Ash just come through as well, so he's finally been able to shop here. But you can see he is almost 500 gold down in this mid lane. So simply, with the pressure he has gotten with the roams, have made a good investment out of it.
Indeed. Is Tibber just going to catch this wave? Simply needs to be careful. He's going to find Tibber. He's going to get Unleashed Power. The Scout of the Week looks him down. There's the flash. There's the hook. And here comes Jakey. That's going to be Tibber securing the kill as Tiara puts up a wall. He gets flashed onto. He gets bopped. It's a double kill for Tibber.
And I wonder if that mid lane goal is going to look the same after that exchange there. Monk having level 6, maybe not able to sparring anything else up there himself. And maybe taking a bit of the rough end after that trade.
Absolutely are, though Outlandish is sneaking around. They spot out this dragon going down, but Monk might find himself in a bit of trouble. There's the slow from the volley. Enchanted Crystal Arrow has been leveled from Snormy, and Monk might be on the receiving end. A bit of Diana love here. Here comes the Lunar Rush, and they've got the follow-up. They don't even need to use the ultimate. Beautiful pick up there for Kova.
Yeah, and it's the way it's done, right? Monk is feeling so safe because he knows his team is doing great. Right now in his mind, he's thinking there's no way anyone is going to be here from River. But Outlandish had done a good job of sneaking up there, and it was just a matter of time before Snormy hit that 6. Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and then it just happened. Now, this could be risky. It's a Bramble West and Kakan, 280 champions.
Yep, and he's going to knock the pair of them up underneath the tower. And this time, Tatooine is tanking as the CC is just cutting him down. Simply, it's going to flash away, but it's going to go down! A double kill for Kakan!
And that's kind of what I said. Yeah, this is why you often go a jungle top duo of one is AP and one is AD into specifically tanks and anyone else you want to dive. It's very hard for them to itemize against it. But right here, this is just a Bramble West. You even got armor in your runes as well. So the fact that they're going for this dive, not waiting out the Ornhorn before they actually start up the dive, is crucial to Kakan getting this double kill. Yes, he does die in the end, but it doesn't really matter, does it?
Well, they're going to work this wave in as we come out of the replay. Tiara and Tatooine are here, but I don't really think they have the tools to be able to deal with Wendell. Although Wendell is only level 4. He does have Jeki, who is constantly just doing objectives while stuff's going on. Is able to pick up that first dragon up while Monk loses his life. And now they are looking at picking up the Rift Herald for themselves. So it's going to give Snormy some free time here in the bot lane to try get a little bit of farm and solo experience, and maybe a couple of plates if he's able to. Tatooine doing his best, actually jumping into the face of Monk, but as we kind of toggled out of the action for the moment, it may just be Tiara who's going low, but Rocket almost takes him down, but Outlandish does still have that Moonfall available, not going to pull the trigger. Didn't quite see all of that action, unfortunately, but it looks like we're going to have a little bit more to follow up. As here come Galaxy Racer. They spot them out on the ward, but Tiara is going to eat some of this poke. Waiting for the orb, is waiting for the scatter of the weak. Outlandish tries to jump forward, but isn't going to quite get in range. As here comes the Moonfall, not going to hit anyone. And it is just a clean takeout here for Galaxy. They trade 1 for 3.
Arrow ahead. Yep, who's it going to hit? Oh. Tower
still hits.
Oh, Monk is just going to be tanking it out for Jakey. Not much is going to happen there. And once again, it's you just let Vendel die for that. That is completely worth it. Such a good setup for Galaxy Racer. They had the Rift Herald available for them as well. So they're just starting to dive up with Herald instead and making everything extremely easy for them. And then, yeah, Kova already low there after a lost fight where Monk was able to get the better of them. And Galaxy Racer, you know, we talk a lot about some of these players very hypey, but they're looking very disciplined under these circumstances. Yeah, there were the small early exchanges, but outside of that, good rotations, good pressure, Monk just chilling in bot lane, Vendel roaming, everything is just looking really good for them.
It's looking really, really good.
Look at that golden Monk as well.
That's my follow-up to you. Yes, it's good. It's 2,000 gold lead here, or give or take, just over a little bit. We can see the gold leads individually. 900 for Monk over Snormy right now. Mid lane up 300, jungle up, well, down 100 to Kova, but overall looking pretty positive here for the side of Galaxy Racer. As we'd like to toggle back to the items and see where we're doing in that point, as the Eclipse has now been finished up onto Jakey, Kraken Slayer on Monk. Sure, there's a proto belt onto Outlandish, but that is the only completed item right now on the side of Kova.
And that's the thing, because you take a look at the rest of them, and you just talked about it yourself. The early lead is just there, and with 1 minute until the next objective, honestly, Jake, I don't think there's any way we're going to be seeing Kova actually come up and channel this Cloud Drake. You do have the summoner spells, but right now, in terms of just you coming in, trying to get a catch, it's going to be hard. The priority right now in the mid lane is being gained now by Tipper. Simply had a lot of it in the early game, but with items coming through from Tipper now, it's all on his ends, especially with blue buff. And you can see they're just making their way down into the river, clearing out the vision, making sure Kova knows nothing of what's going on. And meanwhile, at the same time, bot lane gets the lead, and now they're going for the blue buff, actually.
Tiara is going to try and steal it away with a Q. Oh no! He does it, Tiara! Hero stuff. Wendell's going to try and give it over to his team. It's the scat of the week. The depth charge is used. He throws out the Glacial Fissure and flashes away to safety. Outlandish dodges out. They do have a teleport coming in. Outlandish sucks 2 in with the Lunar Rush. Gets kicked back out and goes in for the flash. The Protobelt buys some space as he dodges out on the zap, but he can't dodge everything. The hook connects with Outlandish. Able to survive all of this. Gets healed up by the Triumph. And Kova now have Wendell caught out. He's locked down. It's a double kill. Everybody's going to get themselves knocked up momentarily, but now the calling is coming in. Here comes the Call of the Forge God, looking for that big knock up. 2 members caught. Tatooine will lose his life, simply trying to put some damage out, but Kakan is just way too tanky. It was a back and forth scrap, but it's a 2 for 2.
And apparently that's all what Galaxy Racer needs. Just 1 tank and 2 backline carries there. But my word, that was a really disgusting fight that came out there. Nothing was under control, and Outlandish keeping his team's hope alive with those fancy movement, making sure the Jinx couldn't get the reset off her passive. Had that come through, that could have been a whole nother fight.
That would have been a very, very different fight. Now, for the moment, the Dragon has been started up by Galaxy. I don't think Kova are actually going to contest this. It's only a Cloud Drake. It's not too impactful right now. Next Drake will be the Infernal on the Infernal Soul, which is going to be really nice for things like Outlandish to go for flanks and stuff. So overall, not the end of the world. But let's have a little look at that team fight once again.
Yeah, it's kind of like Galaxy Racer went, all right, we can't let him get away with this. We have to get him. Even investing the Nautilus ultimate, which I think is going to be a bit overboard there. But it's going to come down to the movement from Outlandish here. They get a good kick onto him, and they feel like they're going to get the damage in. But Monk, all his ability just dodged out, and he just kind of seeded. I think it was actually the Triumph coming through in that kill as well, keeping him alive afterwards, and then Vendel just being out of position. But here's what I talked about. Kakan super freaking tanky right now, and Monk and Tipper in the back line is just doing so much damage. There's no way they can get in and fight him around this objective. It's super awkward for Kova, and they even get out of that fight.
Arrow actually taken up by Wendell as they do get the Glacial Fissure off. The hook connects as well. Wendell, one more auto attack away from being stunned as they are going to be able to find it, and they've got the follow-up of that Lunar Rush, but a great kick will save his life. Tatooine slides in forwards, locks them down. The culling does so much damage to Jakey, but Jakey will survive. Kova find themselves the pick.
Yeah, really good on them, and there's honestly not going to be much they're losing here in the map. Yeah, they're going to lose a couple minions, but they're not losing any objectives, so really nicely done here, Monk.
Oh, no.
Oh!
I think he's just dead.
Wow, that was really cute by Monk. What the hell? Nice play from the Jinx. Wow. You know he's played a lot of Jinx to do that. Like, he knows that the rotation is going to come through from Snurmy. It's going to pick up that bot wave, and it's just super telegraphed, really. But we are going to start it at the mid lane here, where Arrow is going to get blocked by Vendel, which means there's no disengage to come through there. And as soon as he goes from Tiara, we've talked about this Braum pick. Nautilus goes in on Braum, he just stacks the passive and you're stunned. It's really rough to play.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I wanted to see. This is the replay. I agree with you. Monk, this just catches him with the traps, and I mean, I know it's autos, but like, damn, that was just really knowing your damage, and then you're able to take him out. Beautiful pick there by Monk.
Yeah, range as well. It was not like he felt like he needed to go for some minigun stacks with the Kraken Slayer, and he was just like, you know what? We're going with Fishbone here, and we're just going to take him down. It was really nice.
And now off the back of that, he's got a BF Sword and a Vamp Scepter over Snormy, who's just got the Kraken Slayer. Snormy has to be so careful walking up to Wendell like that. Wendell almost got ultimate back off cooldown, got Ignite, and another big CC chain. Snormy would just go down. Doesn't matter if you got a tower or not.
If this was poker, I'd say that Snowman was bluffing there. None of his team members was around him, but he postured up so confidently that Vendel and Monk didn't feel like going for the die, even though they could have. So a nice little fine bluff coming through from Snurvy there, making him pick up that wave, but super risky nonetheless.
Yeah, incredibly risky. But at the end of the day, Snormy doesn't actually lose his life for that. But now this time he has got his support with him, although his tower is low and he has to be quite careful as Wendell comes in for the hook. Ooh. Tiara's not in range quite yet as he's trying to block up all the damage, but he's unable to. And that is the kickback. Monk's just going to finish the tower and then take himself his kill. Galaxy Racer just zooming through this bot lane.
And this is what it looks like when you snowball the Jinx, especially with Snap Engage, as we see here from Vendel. Really nice hook, and after that point, it's just really easy for them to start it. The only thing I'd complain about was Monk ended up tanking towers, so it became a bit of a dire situation, but as you said yourself, he just finishes off the tower, and afterward, when you get the tower, they get the blue buff, and they get the pressure, and they should have the reset timers here to just go up, back as a 4-man unit, mid lane Jakey here, and then go up for this Rift Herald and keep the pressure up. This is what we like to see. Attack, attack, attack. Don't let Kova get any leverage in the game.
Kova now kind of death-balling. All of their team are now grouping up. Everyone but Snormy is actually... They're going to look for Jakey. Another Lunar Rush comes in from Outlandish. Jakey tries to go for the slow, but his flash is burnt.
Yeah, didn't have the
Does mean
dragon
Outlandish
range.
won't have the ultimate, or it'll be close to be coming up. It's fairly short CD actually at this point, as Snormy's going to take a fair amount of damage, and they're going to get the hook off onto one. The Zap's going to go a little bit wide. Outlandish, quarter of his cooldown off, as Galaxy Razor are okay giving this dragon up if it's going to get them a tower. And Kova actually going to back off. They're not feeling it right now.
That's the thing, like they just lost all pressure in the mid lane. The push was there from Tipper, and as soon as they went down towards bottom, Drake is not up until 30 seconds when they made that play. They get nothing out of it. So right now, Galaxy Racing can just continue this pressure. As soon as they want to, they can go down, clear that vision, and start up to Drake if they feel like it. But right now, they want to get more turrets. They want to open up the map a bit more.
They've got that arrow, but they don't have the ultimate from Outlandish, and I feel like if he'd had it, that would have been their go button. Jakey's going to take himself the third dragon. There's just no contest. Kova just rolling over as far as the objectives go. May look to try and take a Rift Herald here. That could be used to try and crack open this mid lane turret, which may afford them a little bit of space at the fourth dragon. But from this point on, every dragon is Dragon Soul. Every dragon is that Infernal Soul as well. The worst one you want to be dealing with when you got the Jinx with the long range rockets and that kind of poke coming in from the Syndra.
And here's the thing about second Herald when you're behind. Like with the first Herald, yeah, you can always just inject it into some gold with some plates, even if you're behind, just because guess I'll just take 300 gold. But with the second Herald, if you don't have the push in a lane, if you don't have the man advantage, if you don't actually have the vision to commit to a play in a side or in the mid lane, it's really hard to get anything out of it. So yes, they do get the Herald, but I'm struggling to see how much value they will actually get out of it. In the meantime, on Galaxy Racer, they just got back from a huge reset time. You can see Bloodthirster has come through from the Jinx. 2 items on Tipper now. He's going to be handed over the blue buff. This is going to mean the pressure is always going to be on the side of Galaxy Racer. And all they have to do right now is just starve Kova out, push in the waves, rotate their members around, get rid of the tier 2 turret, and just get ready for that soul when it spawns in approximately 4 minutes.
They got a bit of time, but Kova have to be proactive now. They can chill till this dragon if they need to, but they've got the Rift Herald. Won't be on the same timer as the dragon for them, though, so we'll have to get used before that. Snormy only sitting on the single item, while Monk has 2.5 right now, so it is incredibly scary for Kova to take these fights, especially when Tiara is getting chased through his jungle by Wendell and the rest of the team, although they are looking for a potential pick here. Outlandish is coming up, and the tier 2 turret is going to get started up by Galaxy Racer.
TP is up with the 2 as well.
Can Kova find an answer? There are the wards. They've been spotted. Outlandish is coming for a long flank, and they're actually teleported in. So they are looking for the fight, but Tiara's going to lose his life before it even starts. Here's the call of the Forge God from Kakan. Gets the knock up onto one. The Snormy's going to get chased down. Flashes away to safety. Outlandish's flank is just way too long. He can't even get close right now. As simply as clipped by the rocket, and Jinx is starting to do the damage. The kick comes in. No ultimate's going to come down in time. Beautiful little pick by the Lee Sin, and Tatooine getting soloed out by Kakan. It is just a bad day for Kova.
And honestly, I can respect them for going for that play. They're all so far behind. There's no way that play is ever going to work. It's pure desperation. They're hoping they can make something mechanical happen. Outlandish just burst and Monk down, for example, but it's not going to happen. And with this, they're going to be able to have their eyes locked on towards the Baron Nashor here.
Well, the Baron's going to get started up, and Tiara looking to also get picked off once again as in comes Wendell, forces the flash out from the Syndra. They're trying to contest, but their jungler is just not close enough as the hook connects in, and Wendell will lose his life, but the stun will answer with a 2 quick kills. The Baron is stopped as Outlandish makes his way forward, has got that ultimate available. Needs to place that Rift Herald fairly soon as well. So they may just use that in the mid lane now. Try and strong arm their way into this.
Yeah, opening up the mid lane now would most certainly be the best case scenario you could ever have, just because, as I talked about, there's just no map pressure from Kova. And with 1 minute and 30 seconds, it almost feels like we're looking towards the hourglass right now, Jake. And we're watching the time of Kova run out here. We've seen the desperation. If they want to make something happen, they need to get at least Outlandish on a second item and needs to find the perfect flank for this fight.
I was able to take a few camps, but big wave crashing in on the top side, and that's the big thing, is now that you've got these these super minions in the top side of the map, it pulls someone away at all times. Now, Snormy's the one, Sipley's the one to deal with that, has obviously got the teleport, so we'll be able to quite happily hold the waves in the base. But this Rift Herald's about to time out, and Outlandish probably just not going to find the opportunity to use it proactively. It's just going to get like put down in the mid lane and kind of hope for the best as Tiara. Yeah, that flash was wasted, buddy. You are going down, my friend. Tries to jump away, but gets caught out by the minions.
Yeah, and at this point, for Galaxy Racer, they don't even need the Infernal Drake. They've been playing the early game so well. Every time when they're making the map rotation, they found the dives, they found the kills, and right again, as we're speaking right now, they're finding the objective once again. They're opening up this bot side tower. Could potentially be looking to end, but could also just use that Drake as the next objective. And I think that's what they're going to do.
And unfortunately, again, the misplay comes from Tiara. Tiara getting caught on the wrong side of the map all alone for some reason and not even finish a single item. I know you're a support. I know you get less gold, but
you leave him
Tiara
alone,
has
right?
had a rough game.
He's had a really rough game, and I will say that I think they had the tools to perform with it. But right now, Kova is giving them a situation right now. All right, you go for the soul, we'll go for the Baron, but newsflash, this trait usually never works.
Well, they're looking for Wendell as the rocket's going to connect him with a couple of members. The scan of the week isn't going to hit as that's the pull-in, but Wendell's going to lose his life to Snormy. No, he's not. He's able to survive. Clips him on the tail end. Simply survives. Kakan is low. Outlandish is coming in. There's the Ash Arrow from Snormy onto Monk, but Snormy actually goes, nope, I don't want anything to do with this. As Tatooine is going to lose his life. Monk just flashes into the face and finds the kill. Now, Outlandish trying to look for a quick assassination. Able to find a 1,000 dodge shutdown. The teleport's coming, and Kakan is going for the back door. Outlandish has been stopped by Jakey. I've forgotten the name of him, but they're going to look for this fight. Outlandish not going to really find too much here. Gets aced. And this is Galaxy Racer taking their first game here at the NLC.
That is the most anticlimactic. You're just watching On slowly but surely taking down the turrets. Monk will be there to help and arrive to take down the Nexus, and Galaxy Racer's first win in the NLC.
And that was Monk. That was Monk, not in the mid lane. Bloody brilliant showing from him, flashing into Snormy's face at the end of that and just going, no, it's me and you. We're going melee mode. Beautiful stuff there from the side of Galaxy Racer, and starting off with a really dominant game.
Yeah, I mean, and you got to recommend them for a relegation team coming into the NLC right now, and they just put up a statement game for the first game against Kova, who's already been here for one season now.
Yeah, honestly, bloody brilliant game. But with that, we are going to take a break. It's bloody hot, so grab an ice bath and cool off. We'll see you in a moment.
Galaxy Racer coming up big versus Kova, and it was, a mix of the Monk show and a mix of mid lane 2 as well. Where I think very impressive stuff from Galaxy Racer coming into their first game of the season. Trouble.
Listen, for me, I think it was like a cancer because this guy, whatever team he ends up going at, they put him on tank duty. Like this poor guy has perfected the tank nation. He gets the on, and even though, yes, I think it's a very stupid move to try to dive an on after 6 with double AD damage dealers when he already has a Bramble Vest and Flash and Ultimate. Yes, I think it's completely stupid, okay? But this guy outplayed the heck out of it. He outplayed the dive, then he was playing the fights to perfection. He was zoning 4 people while his team was doing something else. Tibor popped off together with the Syndra leasing combo that we were talking about. Monk in the bot lane will carry every single time. I mean, I was personally excited about Galaxy Racer and they came in shining, so yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I think Galaxy Racer, I said at the start of the show, I think they're a real contender for the top end of the table. I think they've got a lot of quality on their roster. And speaking of quality, veteran support, Vendelbo here to chat to us. And Vendelbo, good to hear from you. Obviously, we're talking to you on a different team this time round in the NLC. How has it been for you kind of getting into the new roster? What have been the main differences for you from maybe, say, the Riddle roster you played on last time coming into the Galaxy Racer roster that you're on now?
I think the main like thing is the experience difference. Like a lot of the players on my team right now are not like fully experienced like the Riddle roster I had, where everyone was kind of veteran players, know how the game works. So it's just about like starting slow, starting learning the basics of League of Legends together, like just building it slow up, because if you just go too hard in and like try to play like SKT or something, like it will fall down. So we are just taking it slow, step by step. We won today, and yeah, it's good.
What do you feel like this team has got a high ceiling? Like, do you think that this team has got the potential to go very far in the NLC just based on what you've seen from the players so far?
Yeah, I definitely think there's a lot of potential in pretty much every player. It's just about if we work hard enough to show that potential. Like if people care enough and work hard enough and try to improve every single day and take scrims seriously and all this stuff you need to do to improve. If we do that, there's definitely a high potential. But I mean, let's see what happens.
Do you find yourself, as a veteran coming into this team, you said that a lot of people have to take it, one step at a time, start slow and move up the pace as you go. Do you find yourself having like a stronger voice in this team?
I mean, I would say I always have like a strong voice. Doesn't matter what team I play in. It was the same with Riddle. It's gonna be the same with this team. So yeah, I mean, doesn't really matter. Like I always like to be the main caller, the main guy, making sure everything is correct and making sure everyone shine. Like I don't care much about like KDA or score or whatever. Like I'm here to win. I'm here to win games. Like I don't care about the other stuff.
What's been the main difference for you now laning with Monk compared to Rhea previously? What's the main difference for you coming into this lane? Is it a different style of play? Is it a different way that you approach the laning phase in the game?
I mean, we haven't played for that long. We have played like 1 week of scrims, so right now it's kind of hard to say what the main difference is. But like Raya and Monk are both players that like to play aggressive and like to do stuff and like to carry. So in that scenario, they match each other. But when it comes to like skill level and all this stuff, I'm not really sure like who is the best. But Monk is definitely performing well in this game and in scrims. So let's keep it up.
Yeah, and I think. Clearly, we've all said that we believe Galaxy Racer to be one of those kind of like sleeper teams. We genuinely believe like, yeah, okay, you can talk a lot about Fnatic, you can talk a lot about XL, but we see Galaxy Racer as a real sleeper team in the NLC, and I'm hoping we get to see you guys throw those punches upwards towards the top end of the table. So, Vanderbo, cheers, mate, for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you on.
I mean, I think a lot of guys said the same thing about Riddle, and you know what happened? We made finals. Let's see if we can do it again.
I'm excited, dude. I mean, I'm very much hoping maybe EU Masters again and a bit of a redemption story for you if you can make it there too. So, yeah, we'll see you soon, mate.
Yeah, bye-bye. Thanks.
Orcs, you were the real MVP of that interview there. Trust me, mate. You were popping.
Oh, you said quick. You said quick when Trouble for here the humans. I was like, well, I'm assuming this is going to be a short interview. I don't want. You said quick
I'm trolling you, mate. You've got an important job now. You've got a really important job.
This is. I actually had to look back over this clip a couple of times because a lot to break down here. So
all right, let's have a look. Let's have a look at that clip.
Yeah. So this is a pretty monumental one. So as we can see, this is focused around Kakan in the top lane, and the players on the side of Kova, it's going to be Simply and Tatui coming in here. So as you can see, the Ornn is underneath the tower in this position. Now, this is generally seen as a good position for an Ornn because the tower does a lot of damage. And as you can see, we have the approach coming in. I'm going to indicate that with the yellow lines. We have Tatui coming this direction. We have Simply coming in here. And then in return, I'm going to mark with the blue. We have the Ornn ult coming out over here. Okay, so we're going to play on a little bit. As you can see, Tatui's the one to go in, and he gets CC. There's actually a double knock-up here, which is, great to see. I'll even indicate that with some nice yellow. We'll go for the dashed lines here. So this is all big danger zone. They're all getting knocked up here. No good at all. And then as we continue the play, we have a situation here where they start to get the damage down, but critically, another knockup comes in, of all things. Another knockup here onto the Renekton, who had flash, didn't opt to use it there. Again, it's just great play coming out from Kakan, and then that means we end up having the Renekton go down, and then Simply tries to get away. And this is a bit for you viewers at home. I want you to answer what you think happens next in this clip. I'll give you a second. Yeah, that's right. He does die, as you can see. So, bit of an unlucky one for Kova. Thought process was good, but execution just a little bit off there.
Okay, so all I have to say is that I would really appreciate if Outlandish was in on this dive, because they decided to dive the Ornn before level 6 with 3 members, and it almost went south as well. Someone had to flash out, but it was successful. They pulled his flash, they pulled his teleport, they wanted to rinse and repeat, bring the mixed damage scenario into that, because Bramblevest absolutely destroyed them in this particular scenario. So had Outlandish been there with a Diana, I think we would have seen a completely different dive, but Kakan was like so good on that one.
Yeah, it wasn't the best executed dive there, but as you saw, Through a lot of those fights, Kakan was able to just beef that front line and allow Monk the space to take over. And it was a very, very successful game for Galaxy Racer, a nice early win for them in the season. Now, the next game we've got coming up is a big test for a new organization that has entered into the NLC, who are Resolve. A lot of familiar faces on the Resolve roster heading into the NLC, but they're taking on BTXL, the European Masters finalists and our current champions. We'll see you soon.